Hello students, today we are going to continue with the first lesson of geography, that is resources, and this is the last part of this particular lesson. Fine. So as we have already studied about resources, what are the types of resources, fine. Now in this particular video we are going to study about the conservation of resources and how we can conserve them, fine. And then we will study about the sustainable development. So let's start. What do you mean by conservation of resources? First we need to understand that conservation means to protect something, right? So conservation of resources is needed. Why? Because resources are available for us in some limited amount and we need to conserve them. We need to use them carefully so that we can use them for longer period of time, and it is needed that if we are using the resources, then our future generations could also get those resources. That is why we need to conserve those resources, fine. Suppose if we take the example of petroleum or some minerals, fine, everything is present in some limited amount in our natural environment, and we need to conserve them properly. If we are not conserving them, if we are not saving them, if we are not utilizing them in the proper manner, by carefully, then what will happen at the time? It will get finished and then we will have to suffer, fine. So that is why conservation of resources is very important. Now our next topic is sustainable development. Now what does this mean, sustainable development? This means that we should use our resources in such a manner, in such a way that if we are using those resources, we have got those resources from our natural environment, then we should make sure that these resources are also given to our future generations. They do not suffer because of us, fine. So it's very important to use our resources, to use them in such a manner that we do not finish our resources for our present use and let our future generations suffer. Fine. So for the sustainable development, that means for the very careful use of our resources, we need to follow three things, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. You must have seen this type of picture before also in somewhere EVS or some other places in your previous classes, fine. So that is why we need to use reduce, reuse and recycle. Now we need to understand these three terms. Reduce, what does this mean? Reduce means to lower down our uses in such a manner so that we are using them carefully. To lower down our uses of resources in such a manner that we are using them carefully. Suppose if we are going to our school, then in spite of going to our school by a single car and reaching our school there, we should try to pool a car. That means 2-3 students from same locality, if they are going to the same school, then they can pull a car and then together they can go to their school, fine. So, in the same way, the people, elder people also, if they have to go somewhere for shopping or for their jobs, if they are going to similar places, then what they can use, either they can use public transport or they can pool a car, then they can go to the particular place, fine. What will this do? This will help us to save our petrols, fine, and this will also reduce the traffic, fine. So in this way we will do the conservation of resource. So our next term is reuse. Now how we could reuse something? If suppose we have washed our vegetables in a tub or in some utensils and store that water and then use that water in gardening, then we have used that water in two places and we have reused that water, fine. In this way we have saved our resource. So this was the second term. Last is recycle. Now suppose we have used something for a particular work and now our work is over and we have finished using that particular thing, then we should try if the product could be recycled and something new could be made out of it, then we should recycle that product. For example, we have used our books, we have used our newspapers, magazines. So in spite of throwing it, what we should do, we should sell it so that it could be recycled again. And what happens with that, after recycling, a new sheet of papers, a new sheet of books, new sheet of paper could be produced. Fine. So these were the three terms. Now there are some principles of sustainable development, how we could follow this. So what we can do is we should try using these three things, that means reduce, reuse and recycle. That means using our resources in a proper manner. We should respect and protect all the resources that are present naturally in our environment, whether it is living or non-living. We should protect all the creatures, all the living beings on the earth, and we should use each and everything which are provided to us in such a manner so that it could be protected for our future generation also. Fine. So this was all about this particular lesson. I hope you have understood well. Please go through your books and revise the lesson properly and prepare yourself in such a manner so that you could answer the questions if asked from between the lessons, because this time in your PA you will get the questions from your lessons itself, from between the lessons, and those questions will be of objective types. Fine. So just keep revising your work regularly and please do your hard work so that you could score well. Fine. Thank you, students. Please stay at home and stay safe. Thank you.